Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Wanna Fight America, 5 Reasons the US Military Will Make You Dead. Don't know why this title makes me laugh, but yeah, I thought I reacted to this video like a year ago or 2 years ago, but I didn't. I was searching my channel, I didn't react to it. And obviously the theme of the channel right now is, the majority right now of the videos that I do are military based, which is a complete difference to how it was a month ago and how it has been before. But I'm enjoying learning about things that I didn't have a clue about, and I'm still pretty clueless, but I'm slowly like learning things, and you seem to be enjoying the reactions and yeah, all that good stuff. But I don't know what to expect. I guess it's just gonna flex the power. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory based on the title. I know this channel, I've reacted to it a few times. It seems like the most patriotic of the channels, sort of the military based channels that I do. It seems to just love, I don't know, making these sort of titles, but hey, it's fun to see. And yeah, we're going to check this out. Hopefully going to enjoy. And yeah, links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some, what the hell's going on? Some more of my reactions. I've posted there recently, and I've been posting there for the last few years. So there's a lot of reactions you can watch, and it's a wide variety of literally anything you can think of. But yeah, links are in the description, and yeah, let's jump into this.
Want to fight America?
America.
5 reasons the US military will make you dead.
I don't know why that title makes me laugh. Will make you. What the fuck does that even mean? I mean, I know what it means, but it's just a funny title.
The United States is the most formidable military power the world has ever seen. Arguably, since the end of the Cold War, America has enjoyed a level of dominance unparalleled in history. Neither Rome nor the British Empire enjoyed such a level of superiority over rival powers. While the American military is not the largest on Earth, it is by far the best trained and best equipped force on the planet, putting rivals like Russia and China to shame.
Damn.
But it took generations to develop America's military into the world-beating force it is today. And it wasn't until the end of the Civil War that the US fielded armies that could challenge European militaries on the battlefield. From then onwards, it took 2 world wars before the US military finally established itself as the most dominant force on Earth.
How low it is, what the wait, oh, was it taking off? I think it was just flying this low.
US military finally established itself as the most dominant force on Earth.
Maybe it was taking off, actually, maybe it was. But then what's this at the end? It just goes up. What the hell? Fuck.
Here are 5 of all-time deadliest innovations in America's arsenal. Number 1. The Gatling gun.
Gatling gun.
First fielded during the American Civil War, which to this day is the deadliest war in US history with over 600,000 military dead, the Gatling gun was one of the first rapid-fire weapons in history. Consisting of multiple barrels rotating around a central axis, the weapon, invented by Richard Gatling, solved the problem of providing sustained fires for the first time in the gunpowder age. Initially, the U.S. Army, due to the service's conservative nature, was reluctant to adopt Gatling's invention. After Gatling had improved on his initial 6-barrel design that fired 350 rounds per minute, the Army did eventually adopt the new weapon. It was first used in 1864 at the Battle of Petersburg in Virginia.
Crazy, there's so much history behind this specific weapon, and it's still so important even to this day.
After the end of the Civil War, the Army used a 10-barrel Gatling gun that could fire 400 rounds per minute during various conflicts with the Native American population in what are now the western states. The Maxim
rounds.
machine gun eventually replaced the Gatling gun, but the crude hand-driven weapon heralded what was to come. During the brutal trench warfare of World War I, untold thousands fell to machine gun fire.
Oh my days. What? Is that the Gatling gun as well?
Number 2. The atomic bomb. The United States developed the atomic bomb during the height of the Second World War under a program called the Manhattan Project. The project kicked off in 1939 when the Advisory Committee on Uranium told President Franklin Roosevelt that the element would provide a possible source of bombs with a destructiveness vastly greater than anything now known. Work on the bomb went into overdrive after the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, when the United States formally entered World War II against Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Much of the urgency was driven by the belief that the Nazis were working on their own version of the bomb. The project eventually succeeded and yielded the two weapon designs that ultimately brought the Second World War to an end. On August 6, 1945, a lone B-29 bomber called Enola Gay, commanded by Colonel Paul Tibbets, destroyed the city of Hiroshima with a single 15-kiloton nuclear weapon called Little Boy. A few days later, a 21-kiloton yield weapon called Fat Man destroyed Nagasaki on August 9, 1945.
I know this is irrelevant, but what are the reasons for the names? Little Boy and Fat Man. I wonder who named them that.
Seeing the writing on the wall, the Emperor of Japan ordered an unconditional surrender. The world would never be the same with the dawn of the atomic era.
See, I remember learning that in school. That was one of the main things I remember learning in history. The Battle of the Bulge and the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I remember like the conversations. The teacher would always like sort of, because the whole point of the teacher is to give you points of views and like if it was right, if it was wrong. And obviously the loss of life like that is so horrible to think of. But then I remember being taught and like, well, not really taught, her giving the opinion, because it is all sort of opinions at the end of the day, but about how obviously this is how the war ended. This happening, what saved possibly millions of lives. And it's hard to really like say that because obviously in the world that we're in, and even just in general, that many lives are lost. It's horrible to think that that was the best decision, because obviously people's points of views will differ, but you can definitely see how this is like, this moment was, I don't want to say good because it wasn't good, but like it was important and it was kind of needed. Sadly, it was needed to end the war again, to stop the possibilities of millions of more lives being lost. And yeah, it's crazy though. It's just crazy to think that a whole city or two whole cities were just wiped out. Imagine that happening in the current day. Like, you see what's happening in Ukraine and it's kind of similar, but it's not atomic bombs, so people aren't just being completely wiped out. Their homes are being destroyed, which is still horrible to think. But imagine an atomic bomb nowadays. Obviously it'd be more than just a city, but let's just imagine one city just being wiped out, New York just being wiped out, or London just being wiped out. Like, the idea of that is just so insane. But yeah, it's one of those topics that's obviously very touchy, but yeah, you can see both sides of the point of views and stuff. But I feel like it was, at the end of the day, it saved millions of lives.
Number 3. Precision-guided weapons.
When did these become a thing?
Since the 1970s, one of America's decisive advantages in war has been the ability to hit targets precisely. During most of history, war has basically been about throwing a huge volume of fire at a target with a small chance of actually hitting anything. The introduction of precision-guided weapons changed all that. For example, when the 8th Air Force launched a massive air raid to knock out German ball-bearing plants in 1943, it launched around 400 B-17 bombers to hit the targets. Most of the bombs, dropped at appalling cost and met an aircraft, didn't even come close to hitting their targets. The pattern has repeated itself over and over, and entire squadrons would be launched to hit a single target. More often than not, they wouldn't hit a thing.
Wow.
That all changed towards the end of the Vietnam War. In 1972, laser-guided bombs allowed U.S. Air Force and U.S. Navy jets to hit targets precisely.
So was the U.S. military the first military to use precision-guided missiles? I assume they were, because that's what he's saying. Or is he just saying that the US have the most and have the best? I think he's saying here though that the US was the first after the Vietnam War, or during the Vietnam War.
Instead of dozens of jets trying to strike a single target in vain, one jet could hit multiple targets during a sortie.
cost effective.
While in 1972, there were only a handful of precision-guided weapons available, in 2015, almost all weapons dropped from American warplanes are precision-guided.
Jeez.
Precision-guided weapons have given U.S. forces the edge for the past 40 years, but it's an advantage that is starting to slip as other nations develop their own equivalent weapons.
Oh damn, what the hell?
Number 4. Stealth.
Look at these bad boy planes, right?
With the development of ever more capable Soviet surface-to-air weapons during the 1960s and 1970s, the United States Air Force had to come up with a solution to defeat the ever-increasing threat. The answer was stealth technology, which would reduce an aircraft's radar cross-section and infrared signature. Ironically, it was a Soviet scientist by the name of Pyotr Ufimtsev who first discovered the equations to...
Look how this is like. This is such a weird looking aircraft. It's so small, but that's so weird. It's like, it reminds me of that not reminds me, but it's like a Mini Cooper, but of the planes. But it also looks like, it looks cool, but it's just so small. Usually they're so much bigger. It looks like those old school Mini Coopers, but of the military planes, which is a hard sort of comparison to make, but you know what I mean.
Soviet scientist by the name of Pyotr Ufimtsev, who first discovered the equations to develop a low-radar, cross-section aircraft. Ufimtsev's work eventually came to the attention of Lockheed engineer Dennis Overholzer, who then developed the configuration for the first stealth aircraft, which he called the Hopeless Diamond. The Hopeless Diamond eventually evolved into the Lockheed F-117, the world's first operational stealth aircraft in 1981.
What the hell?
From that initial starting point, American stealth aircraft development took off in new directions.
See, this one looks crazy.
The B-2, F-22, F-35, and pretty much every other American stealth aircraft originates from those early efforts to defeat the Soviet air defense system. The net result today is the nearly unstoppable juggernaut that is the U.S. Air Force. Number 5. Drones.
Oh, this is a drone. I've not really done any reactions to drones, so this is something I don't actually know much about. This is a full-size plane as a drone. What? But this doesn't look real. I think this is like a made-up picture, maybe? I mean, it doesn't look real.
When Abe Karem first developed the Gnat, which eventually evolved in the General Atomics MQ-1 Predator, he probably could not have imagined his invention would herald a revolution in the ways wars are fought. Instead of risking lives over the battlefield, American forces can fight remotely with these new systems. While initially considered a passing fad, the past 15 years have shown that unmanned aircraft are here to stay, and war will never be the same. The MQ-1 Predator, which was first introduced over the Balkans in 1990s, is a crewed aircraft.
Wait, so drones were being created that long ago? I didn't realize they've been going on for so long. I thought it was like a last 15 sort of years thing, when they were starting to fully be like functionable and stuff.
Its follow-on, the MQ-9C Reaper, is a little more sophisticated, but it's the start of something that will change warfare forever. Aircraft like the carrier-based Northrop Grumman X-47B are starting to show the true potentials of such machines.
That's... what?
Indeed.
This is a drone. Oh my god, that is crazy.
Are starting to show the true potentials of such machines. Indeed, aircraft without pilots might be the dominant weapon during the remaining decades of this century. As recently as yesterday, Navy Secretary Ray Mabus told an audience that the U.S. Navy will never buy another manned strike fighter again after the F-35C. And if Mabus's vision comes to fruition, unmanned aircraft will give the U.S. unmatched capabilities well into the future.
Mad. So drone versions, right, are they just like the same but just without humans, and it's obviously computer control? Like, obviously this looks different, but are they making drone versions of other aircraft that are in use, but obviously it just doesn't have a human in control, or doesn't have a human inside flying it, but I guess it's still controlled on the ground or something? Because there's no planes that look like this, but there are definitely other ones that I feel like look a lot more similar to planes that are used and aircraft that are used by humans. I mean, damn, drones then. They are becoming the new important thing. I mean, I say that for the last 10, 20 years. Thank you for this video. I was considering fighting the entirety of the US military on my own. This video truly made me reconsider, for fuck's sake. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. And yeah, I think drones are a reaction that I should do soon, because I don't know anything about them, and they are obviously becoming the most important thing. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and until next time, like, subscribe. Peace.